Nikola Tesla in the early 1900s invented an infinite free, clean, wireless tower for distributing energy. And it was built on the electromagnetic ley lines. And it amplifies the positive and negative charge on these electromagnetic ley lines to a certain radius around the tower that gives people infinite free, clean, wireless electricity. Okay?
Sign me up. Where do I plug in?
Dude, that's the question. Now, why don't people know about this? Because JP Morgan, the Rockefellers, all of the big bankers at the time suppressed this technology because they wanted to make money off of charging people for electricity. They wanted to make money off of oil. You see what I'm saying? They wanted to make money off of owning and controlling, full spectrum dominance, all of the resources and all of the labor in the country and on the planet. Nikola Tesla's invention is the antithesis of that. So what we'll see is we're going to see Tesla towers pop up all over the place. And we're going to see war become obsolete because all of our wars are over resources. So if we make resources infinite, war is obsolete.
You don't think people have wars over ideas and culture in addition to resources?
The motivation behind all wars are about owning the land and controlling the people and the resources, whether it be gold, water, food, whatever. Okay?
You know,
most wars, I would say, all wars are fought over the resources or the land. So if we make resources infinite, war becomes obsolete. We also would make all pollution obsolete because now we have an infinite, free, clean, wireless form of electricity. We don't need to drill for oil. We don't need natural gas. We don't need solar panels polluting the environment with their 50 toxic chemicals. We don't need wind turbines killing birds. And we certainly don't need lithium mining or cobalt mining, which all destroy the environment exponentially. And they create what are called anthropogenic chemicals or forever chemicals that pollute the ecosystem to the point to where they become toxic because of something called bioaccumulation. That bioaccumulation of these anthropogenic chemicals, which do not biodegrade, ends up killing off all the microbiological life in the soil and in the water. Okay? In order for life to exist, there has to be microbiological life in the soil and in the water. Otherwise, we don't grow food and there is no fish, right? So pollution becomes obsolete because we have an infinite, free, clean, wireless energy. Also, the control over all of our communication towers, the cell phones, the satellites, the cell phone towers, the computers, internet, Wi-Fi, all that goes out the window because now these Tesla towers can be used to communicate on a global scale. And we don't have to use the globalist-owned centralized grid system. And if you look into Ericsson and the Ericsson report and the way that they have been responsible for transmitting all the communication in the world, and how that stems back to like even the transmission of child pornography, military communications and things of that nature, how they're responsible for like telling Al-Qaeda and ISIS like where American soldiers were and how that led to the death of American soldiers, then you can really see the danger behind centralizing our communication grid.
Who did this? The government did this?
The company Ericsson. You haven't heard about the Ericsson report?
No.
Look into it. Okay. Ericsson.
I would say 93% of the time you say, have you heard about? The answer is going to be no. I do very minimal, research on these sorts of things. So Ericsson is a company.
International Communications, Telecommunication Corporation.
Okay. And you're saying they told ISIS where American soldiers are?
If I'm not mistaken, that's what the report says.
Okay. So...
And they're also responsible from what the report says responsible for the child pornography that's all around the planet.
Because they're transmitting.
And they know about it. At least that's what the report says, according to what it is that I...
Now, I'm disoriented because we're zooming in and zooming out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, but don't apologize. I'm just trying to get a handle on it. And this is part of the Q thing, or this is just your own personal?
No, dude. Look, Q is a very small part of my story.
Yeah.
The media tried to make it a big one because then that's how they could create a straw man that they could then smear me and divide the country.
Yeah.
When these ideas are very unifying. You said, sign me up. Infinite, free, clean, wireless electricity, sign me up. Yeah. Right? Everybody can feel that way. Republican and Democrat voters alike. So it will give us infinite, free, clean, wireless electricity, a new form of communication, and both of these together is going to create economic surplus, right? It will make war obsolete. And it can also allow us to purify the environment so we can get rid of the bioengineering, stratospheric aerosol injections and all of the soft metals and barium and aluminum stuff in the atmosphere. We can also use it to help plants grow. So agriculture can be like through the roof because you can use these frequencies to help plants to grow like that. Okay. You can also use it to neutralize pollution through combining these frequencies with bioremediation and fungus that eat radioactive material or eat contaminated soil with like diesel fuel and stuff like that. Okay. What I'm talking about is a real ecological evolution, a real agricultural evolution, a energetic evolution. And so the evolution of our minds is going to manifest as an evolution in technological innovation and as regards to medicine as well. Dr. Rife, that's R-I-F-E, Royal Raymond Rife. In the 1930s, he was working with Nikola Tesla on creating a machine that could destroy disease and viruses and cancer cells and all that stuff with sound and frequency. The way you can destroy a wine glass with sound and frequency, you can destroy disease with sound and frequency. This machine was suppressed. The Rockefellers, who own big pharma in the modern pharmaceutical industry and in the medical industry, they suppressed it. They just look into Tesla and his story and look into Dr. Rife and his story, and what you're going to find are three things. Number one, government corruption at its inception here in the United States in the early 1900s. Number two, you're going to find all of the uses for the devices that these men made, how it could transform agriculture, transform communications, transform energy, transform weather manipulation and purifying ecosystems, how it could change our entire global grid system. And then lastly, and this is the most important part, and this kind of comes back to this idea of bridging the physical and the metaphysical, like what you were talking about, okay? Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, okay? In order to understand how Tesla towers work, in order to understand how Dr. Rife and his machine works to cure disease, you have to know and understand energy, frequency, and vibration. So as people research this stuff, not only do they uncover government corruption, not only do they see the tools that we could use to free ourselves forever and purify the planet, but they also see the secrets of the universe and they unfold before people. And the bridging between the physical and the metaphysical, how these things come together, and how ideologies that are based on separation are also rooted in parasitism and genocide.
Say more about that. That last part, that ideology rooted in separation has to do with parasitism and genocide. What does that mean?
Look at it like this. So in the Amazon, their definition of evil is the idea of investing in this idea of being separate from another person, from the environment, etc. That's where evil comes from. Now, if you look into the work of Philip Zimbardo, the guy that did the Stanford prison experiment,
I'm not familiar.
Not familiar with it? Oh, dude, you got to look into it. So Philip Zimbardo, he did the Stanford prison experiment where it basically discovered that even if it's just college students doing a drill or a play role of your guard, your inmate, there becomes this divide where the guards become abusive and authoritarian and the inmates become combative and revolutionary because of this dynamic, because of these roles, right?
Opposing interests and roles. Okay.
Yes. So he also went on, he was like, I think he was like a psychologist or a psychiatrist. He went on to investigate the origins of evil and the psychology of evil. He did a lecture called The Lucifer Effect and the Psychology of Evil. And what he came to find was that there are three main things really that cause human beings to do evil things. Number one, dehumanization, either of a person or a group.
Yeah.
So the other, separation, right?
But hold on, haven't you done that with these ancient peoples who are expressed through the British royal family and the Rockefellers and all the terrible
No, because
people?
I don't advocate for their death.
But you're separating them.
No.
You're saying they're responsible for all the problems.
No, it's similar to identifying the root cause. I'm not saying they're the other. There's a lot of people that want these people's heads. And I've said in a lot of spaces on Twitter that like, no. That's not the solution. That's not the solution at all. The solution is if God hasn't taken these people's lives, we shouldn't either. We need to, yes, we need to stop this, but the only way to stop what they're doing, what they're doing is based on separation, and because of their belief of separation, they have created a system that is parasitic on the environment and parasitic on human beings. And in the process, they've created mass extinctions of plant species, of animal species, genocide in foreign nations, displacement of whole populations, the human trafficking trade, child sex trafficking. All of these things are based on this illusion of separation. Okay? So I look at them and I say, well, technically they're a part of this unified whole. Okay? And what I'm advocating for is not the destruction of the old system, but making the old system obsolete by creating a new one. And you do that through helping people to understand what happened, why it happened, where it happened, when it happened, and how we can do something so much better, so much more quickly, that seriously, within a couple of months to a couple of years, we would see a whole new planet, a whole new world.
You've seen UFOs. Is it you believe in aliens or no? They're not aliens.
Okay, so look at it like this. Do you believe in angels and demons?
Yes.
Okay, angels and demons are interdimensional entities. UFOs or extraterrestrials are interdimensional entities. We are talking about entities that exist in dimensions that are layered on top of our own, but that we don't perceive with our five senses. This is part of the role of the shaman.
So you're saying, this is what I say. I say either people are just imagining the alien stuff or they're demons. And you're basically saying that I'm right and Matt Walsh is wrong.
No, what I'm saying is that they're angels or demons, and you can judge a tree by its fruits. Now think about it. In the Bible, whenever anybody saw an angel, what was one of the first things the angel said?
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Because when you experience these things, it is so boundary dissolving. It is so intimidating because it's so interdimensionally incredible that the first inclination is to be afraid, right? An evil interdimensional entity wants people to be afraid because they feed on that, right? An angelic or a positive interdimensional entity is going to say, don't be afraid. It's all good. I'm here to help.
But sometimes the Christian view is that demons sometimes disguise themselves as angels of light. So they pretend to be really nice, but they're evil.
Yes. Well, you judge a tree by its fruits. Vet the spirits, right? Test the spirits. An angel is never going to ask you to hurt yourself or somebody else. An angel might ask you to go through something difficult, but there's larger interdimensional implications to that difficult journey. This is why shamans go through ordeals. This is why Christ did the 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. It's why he went through the passion, because he understood the interdimensional implications for humanity as a whole, for generations to come, for millennia to come, behind doing these things and banishing evil from Israel. When 40 days and the 40 nights, get behind me, Satan, or the passion and going through that and then rising 3 days later, which I believe that Christ did rise, but I think it's because he achieved something called rainbow body, which they've talked about in Tibet for a very long time, which is essentially spiritual ascension.
Rainbow body?
Rainbow body. You can look it up. It's mind-blowing stuff. There's images of people achieving rainbow body inside of a cave, and there are these massive rainbows all over their silhouette. And then outside the cave, there's like footprints or handprints where they've vitrified their prints into stone. You know what vitrification is? Where rock becomes glass?
No.
It gets heated so high that it becomes glass.
No.
So there's also, what happens is that with rainbow body is that rainbows start wafting off of the person's body. And along with those rainbows come the scent of like jasmine and perfumes and like roses and stuff like that. Very pleasant.
It sounds like the month of June in Greenwich Village. There's a lot of rainbows, a lot of lavender and perfume coming off people's, but they're not angels.
They're not.
I promise.
Well, this has been documented over 100,000 times in Tibet. And what happens is that the body shrinks down to like a Cabbage Patch doll body of ash, right? And then they have these shrines where they like put these beings in these shrines to prove rainbow body exists, that it's real. And then above this Cabbage Patch doll body of ash, you see this person's rainbow body, their soul. They have literally ascended and they can do whatever they want in the physical world. They have ascended beyond it. And that's why I think that I've heard once that in the Shroud of Turin, that it's not actually blood, but it's actually burn marks.
Yep. Yeah,
so it's burn marks because he ascended to this level of rainbow body in the Shroud of Turin.